Hopefully this music is not too loud. I don't really make videos. I watch a lot of videos, but I don't make them. I'm using a Zoom website and recording it because I didn't feel like typing a whole bunch out. One reason why I don't make videos is I'm not very good at communicating kind of what I'm thinking. It's hard for me to explain to people what goes on in my head. I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So I'm A negative blood. I don't know. I've always questioned everything, even as a very young child. I grew up in the church. My family, well, my mom was Southern Baptist, and the church we went to was in Georgia, and they don't like you questioning things, which is kind of what turned me away from the church. But I started to get more interested in Christianity, and I don't know about, I know how much we've been lied to, so I don't know what to trust that's in the Bible. But now I'm hearing more stories from the Bible that are kind of syncing up with information I've been getting now and just things I've been noticing. But I would ask questions in the church, and they didn't like that, and I would ask questions in school, and I was a loner my whole life, and I still am. In a way, I mean, I'm very outgoing, and I connect with people very easily like that. I can kind of look you in the eyes and kind of know what you're about, and most of the time I can find something that I have in common with you that I can talk about, and I can draw that out of people. I've worked in retail a lot and customer service, and I like people, but they think I'm weird. They know something's off, and as a kid, I was always off by myself. When I was really young, the moon would always make me very upset, and I didn't know why. I did know I wanted to go into space, and it always made me really sad because even as a young child, when kids are saying, I want to be an astronaut, I knew I wasn't going to be able to be an astronaut, and that it wasn't going to be a possibility that I was going to be stuck here on Earth. I didn't want to be here. I would get really upset. When I started about 5th and 4th grade, I started learning about endangered species and pollution and what people are doing to the forest, and I would get very emotional. I remember making a bunch of handwritten flyers trying to get people to donate to the World Wildlife Fund, which now I know that most of those organizations are evil anyways, but I didn't know at the time, and I would just weep. I would just weep to my best friend, and I would say, why are you people so mean, and why are they killing all the animals, and why don't they care? And adults always told me I was wise for my age. I was always reading nonfiction books growing up, even in early elementary school. I didn't care about fiction books. I wanted to just learn. I still just, I'm constantly researching, like obsessively searching, just non-stop, about everything. Different theories, flat Earth, is space made out of water? Are we in a firmament? I have reason to believe we are. and I will ramble because, like I said, I'm not very good at explaining things, especially not in order. But I do think we're in a firmament. I think that the Great Flood happened because of a crack in the firmament. You can look up videos of astronauts outside of their spaceship working on their space shuttle, and you will see air bubbles, and they do float up because they are in water. To me, that either means A, space is made out of water, and they're in water when they film that, or B, they've never been out in space, and all the videos that we see of them outside of their spaceships is filmed in giant tanks with green screens behind them. I know they train in pools. I know astronauts train in pools. There's an Italian astronaut, you can look up footage on YouTube, who got a crack. He started getting a leak in his suit. He almost drowned. By the time they got him in the spaceship, there was over a gallon of water in his suit, and he almost died. And they show news clips, and they said, oh, it was a leak in his urine line or something, or it was his water, but that's bullshit. Hold on one second. That's bullshit. Also, the planets, okay, so the other day, Venus was ginormous, and it was right next to the moon, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, that is not a star. So I downloaded the Google Maps on your phone. You can download a little app, and you point it at the sky. It tells you what you're looking at, supposedly. It said Venus. And it is bright as fuck. I mean, a gigantic, bright star, flickering. So I was like, has Venus always been glowing? Like, brighter than the moon? I looked it up, and apparently Venus is surrounded by gas that reflects the light of the sun, which is why it's so bright. Okay. Well, I know a girl through a group I'm online with, but I don't really know her, but she posts these videos. She has this camera that zooms in. It's like a $2,000 camera. She can zoom in like as strong as a telescope. And she zooms into planets and stars and records them, posts them on YouTube. And she had a video of Venus, and you can look up her video, or you can just search any video of these stars and planets zoomed in from amateur photographers and astronomers, and it looks exactly like what it looks like when water is rippling. Like if you shine a light through water onto a surface, that's exactly what it looks like. Water. It looks like water. You can look up NASA footage of outer space, and you see an unedited video. You can see what looks like organisms swimming around. They, like, not even UFOs. They look like organisms in a pond. Are we on a flat snow globe with a firmament, with the waters below and the waters above, like the Bible says? And not just the Bible, but ancient texts in most of the religions describe this. Okay, so as a child, back to that. I will jump around. I became obsessed with magic. I became obsessed with changing the weather. I figured out when I was really young I could affect the weather. and even change direction of snow, make it snow, make it rain, make it stop, make storms much more intense if they were already happening. I don't really, sometimes I'll try and make it snow because me and my son like to play in it. But I usually don't mess with it because I don't want to have a negative effect on the other towns and stuff. But I became obsessed with magic and would try to walk off the bed and just keep walking on the air and would fall every time, of course. I thought maybe if I closed my eyes and spun around in a circle and didn't realize when I hit the edge of the bed, if I didn't realize I was walking on the air, maybe I wouldn't fall. But it never worked. And that was from watching Looney Tunes cartoons where they walk off the cliff and they don't realize it. And then they look down and they're like, ah, and then they fall. But anyways, I started trying to, I found a website. This was back when all we had was dial-up. I was really young. I was in elementary school. I tried to teach myself ESP, and I tried to teach myself to be telekinetic. I think that's the word, where you can move stuff with your mind. So I read on this little rinky-dink website that you just take the metal end of a regular number 2 pencil off of the pencil. You take out the eraser, and you're left with this little aluminum shell. And you put it on the table. Sorry, I get sidetracked. You put it on the table and you try and move it with your mind. And I would practice this, or I would try and move candle flames all the time. I would also try to stare at TV screens and try to completely zone out to where I didn't see or hear what was on the TV, trying to make, I don't know. I think I read it on that website. That's kind of something you do. Or I would try and stare out the window in the passenger of the car and try not to follow the trees going by with my eyes, just try and stare straight, which is really hard to do. And unfortunately, I think I just gave myself some sort of ADD from doing this training. But I do have I've never been telekinetic, but I do at least once a day say out loud what somebody was thinking, and they're like, how did you know? And I'm like, because I know. Everyone thinks I'm a weirdo. They'll straight up tell me, and I straight up say, I know, I don't care. And again, and I don't know how long I have for this video, because I have a 1.5-year-old sleeping, and he could wake up at any minute. His name's Luke James. He's adorable. And I would like to know what his blood type is, because I don't know. Now, curious enough, I'm A negative, and I started asking my mom what her blood type was, because I wanted to know where I got this blood from. And she said she did not have negative blood, but that her sister, my aunt, had negative blood, and my grandmother had negative blood. And I also called my dad's sister. He passed away when I was 17. But I called his sister, who's a nurse, and was asking her if they had Rh negative blood. She said, no, you didn't get it from us. They have O blood, but I guess it's O positive. She wasn't sure about Dad, but she was pretty positive that all of them were Rh positive. So she said, you got that from your mama's side of the family. So I looked that up online, and even though it's really uncommon, you can get Rh negative blood even if you have 2 positive parents. Of course, my grandmother has Rh negative, and my aunt, and I don't know about my uncle. He's a dick, so I don't care. Now, we, on my mom's side of the family, have all had ghost experiences, and I have always had tons of UFO experiences, but not like nuts and bolts metallic UFO, but I'll see stars moving. When other people can't see it, they can't see it, I say, don't you look? And they don't see it moving. One night camping, there was a big, huge, bright light for most of the night, and I thought it was full moon until hours later I realized the moon was somewhere else, so I don't know what that was. It was really close, though, and really bright, and that was white. But all my other experiences are orange orbs, and I don't know what connection I have with these orbs, but they make me feel excited and happy, like ecstatic. And maybe that's just because it's so exciting to see something like so unusual like that. You're not used to seeing that, and when you see it, you're either going to panic or you're going to be overwhelmed with joy. I feel like it's going to be one or the other. You're not going to say, oh, whatever. So, and the orange color they have is the same exact color as like the orange street lamp. Same color. But I know they're not street lamps. I've seen them in packs together, about right above the treetop level, and they all travel together. And a couple times I've been driving, and I watch them and drive and keep an eye on them until they go below the treetops, and I can't do anything about it. One time I was trying to kind of summon them or something, and I was like, where are you? And I would get so mad. I'm like, okay, where the fuck are you? If you have something to do with me, then why don't you show yourself? Why don't you fucking show yourself to me? And I would get so mad, and I finally was like, please, I want to see you. And then the next night, I saw orange lights in the trees across the street from my house. And there's never lights over there. I mean, ever. But that night there was the orange lights, and they were twinkling. So I was like, okay, good. But I didn't see them again. And the most intense experience I already sent in an email to you was the two giant orbs, and they were big as a house at least. I don't know. One was oval and one was perfectly round, and they just blinked alternatively forever. And so I couldn't sit there any longer. I mean, there's only, if you stare at something, it's just blinking on and off and not moving and not doing anything. There's only so long you can just sit there and stare at it. And I reported that, and they actually called me from MUFON, which is the UFO investigative group, and they interviewed me over the phone. And they asked all kinds of questions. They said, oh, do you see stuff that other people can't see? And I said, sometimes. And now I don't know if I trust MUFON. I'm a very paranoid person. I've been studying conspiracies. I really woke up in probably 2007-ish, when I found out that 9/11 was an inside job. And when I found that out, that really got me questioning, okay, what else are they lying to us about, and what are they trying to do to us, and why? And I started digging into everything. I started eating organic food. And maybe it was before then. I don't know. Maybe it was 2005. It was around there. I started eating mushrooms and studying psychotropic plants, and I don't know. I always was interested in herbs and stuff, but 2008 was really intense for me. It was 2008 or 2009 that I had a download, and I saw, let me get a pencil. saw this shape, which is the shape that is formed when 3 circles overlap. And it looks like this. And I don't have a, well, maybe I've got a better one. That one's floppy. Well, I thought it was on this. Anyway, it's the shape that 3 circles make when they overlap. But just this shape. It wasn't the outside. It was this part right here. And I immediately knew this is where everything comes from. I had no idea why I knew that. I didn't know about sacred geometry. This was back when I was 18. So it had to be around 2009. I didn't know about sacred geometry at the time. I did have a little rock shop that I inherited from my dad. And we ran it together. Then he passed away from brain and lung cancer. I took over the shop. I ran it for 3 years. So it's always around crystals and minerals. It was great. I dropped out of school. I homeschooled myself through high school. Dual enrolled at the college, took botany, all kinds of stuff. I feel like I'm just on a tangent, but I'm just trying to let you know more about me, and if you want to share the video with your buddies, you can. I'm just trying to find more RH negative people to see what kind of common threads we have. Also, this is interesting. I don't remember how old I was. I was young. I had to have been in 4th or 5th or 6th grade. Around that time, I was like walking outside, playing, whatever, and I was like scratching at my arm. Something was like bothering me, and I picked at it. I started to pick at it, and something was sticking out like a scab. And I looked at it, and I saw like a speck, and I pinched it and pulled it out, and it was a blue rod about this long. Thin as a pencil lead, like a mechanical pencil lead, or thinner, probably thinner. And when I pulled it out, it didn't hurt, and I just looked at it and was like, huh, and threw it away. Threw it on the ground. I wish I would have kept it. Now I have done some research into implants, and I have read that people that have implants are programmed, if they find a way to pull them out, or if they find their implant, they are programmed to throw it away. People don't keep their implants. So I threw it away. And I didn't think anything of it until years later when I was talking with one of my dad's friends who was a real, like, weirdo. Like, he was just like, don't let the school ever get your fingerprints. Don't let them draw blood. They'll clone you. He was awesome, but he was like out there like me and like my dad, and that came up somehow, and he was like, what the fuck? He was like, you didn't think that was weird? And I was like, I guess I never thought of it until now. Like, I didn't think it was a big deal, but yeah, now that you mention it, that is really not normal. I always had an irrational fear of people being in my house, or something being in my house, monsters, and that they were going to take me. I always felt like I was being watched. I would even like change my clothes like in my closet sometimes as a young child, because I felt like something was there. Now my grandmother, like I said, she's seen a ghost. There used to be a little boy in her house from the Civil War, her house in Georgia. And I always felt the presence, but I've never seen a ghost. I have heard them. Another time, I was at my friend's house, and it was like an old cottage in the mountains of North Carolina. And that house, lamps would fall over, or you would see stuff out of the corner of your eye, like a little shadow go across the ground. Sometimes in this one corner of the house, near my friend's bedroom, you would smell like rotten fish out of nowhere. And it would linger around, and then it would go away. And I have a picture of me sitting in the yard with all these wild violets in like 9th grade. And there in the picture, I don't have it anymore, but in the picture, it was like hundreds of orbs. And I was just so blissed out and just being a kid. That's right when I dropped out of school and was homeschooling myself and just doing what I wanted to do and learning about gardening and learning about whatever I wanted to learn about, and kind of studying some physics on the side and Eastern philosophy and Eastern religions and Taoism, learning how to meditate all on my own. It's just something that came naturally to me. I would meditate every day, and those were really good times. When I was really young, my grandmother had lamps on each side of the table, and you could, each side of her bed on the side tables, and I could touch the lamps, and they'd go from dim to bright to brighter to off. And I did this all the time. There's nothing to do with that house, and every once in a while I'd find myself in a room just play with a touch lamp. One day when I got older, I went to touch one of the lamps on, and it didn't work, and I said, "Momo, what happened to your touch lamp?" And she said, "What are you talking about? Those are normal lamps." I blow out light bulbs, only in night lights though. I can't put in the night lights for my kids because as soon as I plug it in and turn it on, pop, it goes out. Pop, it goes out. I've gone through 20 bulbs. My mom even sent me bulbs. I was like, "Oh, these bulbs suck. These bulbs are broken. These bulbs are cheap, and I don't think it's the bulbs." I think it's me. Touchscreen phones sometimes don't work, and electronics don't work, especially if I'm already frustrated. If I'm really agitated and really frustrated, it won't work. And then I'll hand it to somebody else, and they're like, "Oh, you just don't know what you're doing. You're stupid." And they do it. And they do the exact same thing I do. They push the exact same sequence of buttons, and it works, of course. Oh yeah, but I was at my friend's house at the little old cottage where that ghostly activity would happen. And one night I was laying in bed, and it was my best friend's room, and she had 2 beds. They were like little tiny beds, twin beds, I don't know, whatever the smallest size is, and they're on each side of the room. And this girl, Amber, she was like really touchy-feely. Like, if you sit on the couch with her, she put her feet in your lap, and she's always like giving you hugs and wanting to give you like back scratchies and wanting to play with your hair. And I was laying there with my eyes closed, and I feel someone petting me down my hair and on my back, and I was like, okay, that's just a little too invasive. Like, so I opened my eyes to tell her, like, that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And she is across the room asleep in her bed. She was not petting me. So I think that was a ghost. And then recently, at the last house we were at, I've got a boyfriend. I had an ex-husband because he was, like, possessed. And have a baby with him, and then I have a baby with my boyfriend. And we're not married, and I don't know if we ever will be. But at our last house, I was pregnant with Luke, and Leo was 3 or 4 at the time. And this house was in Asheville, North Carolina. I started hearing pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat down the hallway. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. You could hear it go down the hall. And it sounded just like when Leo runs down the hallway. Same pit-pat, same weight, same space between the steps. And at the time, he had just learned to pull the chairs up to the freezer and steal popsicles in the night. And I would wake up, and there would be melted popsicles in the sheet. So I heard pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat down the hall, and I'm like, pregnant as hell, laying in the bed. Our bed was so low to the ground. I didn't want to get up. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. So I get up. I bust out of the room. I bust into his room, ready to be like, get in my bed. I'm trying to sleep. Sprawled out, drooling. Exactly where I left him, asleep. He's not moved. It was not him moving down the hallway. My hair would stand on end. So I would go back to the bedroom, close the door, and hear, Mom, just like a little kid. Yeah? Mom? What? Nope, it wasn't the kid. Or Leo. My laptop would just turn on, like, it would be shut. And the music would start playing from the last video I was watching on YouTube for a few seconds, and then shut off. One time, Christian's friend, that's my boyfriend, Christian's friends came over from Connecticut. They went on like this big road trip, and they were going to all the breweries, and they were staying at our house. And we were dog sitting. Our friend was out of town. We had his dog, Melmo, over, and they got in real late, and then we hung out the next day, and then the next morning, Christian had to go to work early. He worked for a brewery, Sierra Nevada, nice brewery. He left early for work, and they left really early to go tubing down the river, because we were right next to this giant river, beautiful river that goes through Asheville, Pigeon Forge. They left early to go tubing, so it wouldn't be too hot going down the river. And I was sleeping. Leo was sleeping. I'm pregnant as hell, once again. Didn't want to get out of bed. I heard them get up and leave. And then I heard the door open and shut. And I heard walking, and I heard meow, meow. And the dog's name is Melmo. And we would, you know, when you talk to dogs, you're like, meow, meow, meow. You have this funny dog voice. And we would say, Melmo, Melmo. But I heard the door open and shut, and I heard Melmo, Melmo. And I thought that was them just playing with the dog, like, oh, hey, dog. So I get up out of bed, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll make coffee for them. They came back in the house. And I get up, and no one is home. The car is not here, and Leo is asleep. So I was like, okay. I told everybody when they got home. They were like, that's weird. And all the time I would hear pit-pat, and I started getting so freaked out that I would be like laying in my bed, and the door would be shut, and the hallway light would be on, so I was scared of the dark. And there was like this much of a space between the floor and the door, and I would look, and I would be terrified. Like, I didn't even want to look because I was so scared I was going to see like a shadowy figure walk past, and I would flip out. I would get so scared that I would just have to pee, and the bathroom was across from the bedroom door. And I would just hold it in until Christian got home, because I was so scared that when I opened the bedroom door, something would be standing there, like the Ring or something, I don't know. But I always felt terrified at my grandmother's house at night, and something about opening a door that's shut. I always just feel like there's going to be something standing there. And I've had so many abduction dreams. I've been sat down at tables, and I don't recall ever seeing the being, but I've been sat down and told to study geometry and like stars, like where they are in the sky, or just stars. I remember seeing like pictures of constellations, which I just started getting into drawing geometry, and I still haven't studied the stars. You'd think I would get right on it, but I don't know why I haven't. I do know the planets and stars are not what they tell us. Another interesting thing about space being water, I saw a video that was not about space being water, but they had in a laboratory a glass sphere full of water. And this video was about frequencies. They had this sphere full of water. It was like this big. Whatever, the size doesn't matter. And they had a speaker on each side, and one speaker was pulsing a frequency, and the other speaker on the other side was pulsing a different frequency. This is on a Michael Tellinger YouTube video. And the two frequencies combined caused this aqualuminescence, which a light starts glowing brighter than anything you've ever seen, right in the center of the sphere of water. I saw the video. This can be reproduced in a laboratory from frequencies of sound in the water, glowing. So, if space is made out of water and there's all these glowing things, and even NASA supposedly, well, they have recordings of frequencies that these stars are emitting, there's probably frequencies going through the water and creating these aqualuminescent bodies in the sky. So, is space water? Is it? You tell me. I don't know. I have so much to say, and I don't know what to say anymore. I've kind of run out of steam. I do know I want to find other RH negative people. I do know that I have heard that we cannot get cancer. I would like to know if you know of anybody with RH negative blood that has had cancer. Supposedly we can't get cancer, and cancer is some sort of bioweapon against RH positive people. That's a rumor. Most of the stuff about RH blood is a rumor. I've heard that we're hybrids from the fallen. I've heard that we are genetically manipulated and we were an upgrade. I have heard the witch trials had a lot to do with hunting us down. A lot of the characteristics they were looking for in the so-called witches were characteristics in RH negative people. I know supposedly we can't get AIDS. Don't want to test that. I know I got hepatitis C a few years ago, and they have crazy drugs you have to take to cure it, and then even then you're not guaranteed for it to go away. It just kind of, I don't know what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to subdue symptoms or something. But my body cured myself of hepatitis C. And I know that because when I had Luke, they would do all these blood tests while you're pregnant, and they said, you have antibodies for hep C, which means you got hep C at one point and you cured yourself of it, and now you're immune. So now I'm wondering, do RH negative people have, can we heal our own blood? Can we heal blood-borne pathogens? That's something interesting to know. And that's something I definitely don't talk about with other people. You don't run around saying, oh, I used to have hepatitis. But yeah, I cured myself of that somehow. I used to get really bad night terrors. Bad. I would wake up partners, like kicking or yelling, and they would wake me up. I would have really bad dreams, and usually car crash dreams or like tumbling dreams where it's like tumbling down a mountain or something and I'm about to die and it's painful. And I've never really, knock on wood, I've never been in a crazy car crash, so I don't know where that would come from. And other night terrors, but, or like fighting. But finally it got so bad, I remember these beings, and I don't recall what they look like, but I remember something else being there and it telling me, next time you're in danger, like imminent danger in your dream, you surround yourself with a rainbow bubble and it'll protect you. And ever since then, I've been able to do that. You have to realize you're dreaming, realize it's a nightmare, and then summon this bubble and it protects you. And I just started doing this artwork with sacred geometry. When I saw that shape, I tried to draw it everywhere. I was obsessed. I was like, this is where everything comes from. Listen, this is where everything comes from. All my friends were like, you're crazy. Stop. You're going to get locked away. So I stopped, and I was trying to draw circles overlapping, like grids of circles overlapping. And I didn't know there was like a flower of life, circle shape with all the circles overlapping, or the tree of life. I didn't know about this stuff. And if you try and freehand circles, they're not going to be perfect. And if you try and freehand circles in a grid, it's not going to work. But I've learned, I bought like a little geometry set, and this is my first piece. And I'm gonna fill it in with a lot more colors because I like it to be full color. And I had another one, but my son wanted to color it, so I let him. Because I do feel like if you look at sacred geometry, there will be information downloads from the pattern, and genetically you will absorb something from it. Maybe even healing, I don't know. Used to be obsessed with aliens and UFOs because of my experiences. Now I've been questioning, are they extraterrestrials? Are they ultra-dimensional? Are these things trapped in the firmament with us? Are they even from outer space? Are they angels? What are they? I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Does anybody have any experiences with these orbs? I really want to know. No one, even people that are so-called like UFO experts or paranormal experts or just like alternative kind of thought people, when I bring up these orbs, they change the subject or ignore me. I've never gotten anyone to respond to me about these damn orbs. So maybe I'm supposed to figure it out on my own. I don't know. Maybe there's some program in place where other people aren't allowed to, I don't know, put their input in on it. I have no idea. But I don't know. I guess I've rambled on long enough, and I'll sign off. But I just thought it'd be easier if I made a video than typing up a bunch of shit because I can't spell. I have terrible grammar, and I don't like writing in general. So I just made a video. But hopefully it wasn't a waste of time. Hopefully you thought it was interesting. Hopefully I'm not too vain and talking about myself. I just wanted to get out as much as I could to see if anyone has similarities. I'm going to pass this on to Joseph. If he wants to pass it on to anyone, he can. Only trusted people, though. I don't want to be burned at the stake or locked away. So, yeah, that's all. And have a blessed day, and hopefully I will talk to you later.